So now I would go to some basic differences which we need to know. There are certain basic differences between fear, panic, and anxiety. We often use these terms interchangeably, but there are minute differences between all these three areas. So, what is fear? Fear is a basic emotion that is shared by many animals. So, there are six basic emotions that have been defined by Plutchik and many other theorists, emotion theorists. And those six emotions are anger, fear, happiness, sadness, surprise, and disgust. So fear is one of those basic emotions. And what is a basic emotion? A basic emotion is something which is kind of not taught to a person. A person does not learn a basic emotion. A person knows this instinctively, instinctive. I'm sorry, I'm having a tongue twister moment right like the person has this right from its instinct, right from the time when a baby is born, a baby can emote all these six types of different emotions. So that is why these are called basic emotions. And these emotions have been found to be emoted even by other animals. Like we can find other animals emoting fear as well. So this is a basic emotion. And this involves activation of the fight or flight response. Just like humans, other animals also live in jungles and they also need to have this fight or flight response so that they can also prevent danger. So basically, it involves activation of the fight or flight response of the sympathetic nervous system. Then comes panic. So panic again is a basic emotion which is again shared by many animals, which involves activation of the fight or flight response of the sympathetic nervous system. But as we will go forward, we'll understand there is a basic difference between fear and panic. In anxiety is experienced as an unpleasant inner state in which the person anticipates something dreadful may happen that is not entirely predictable from our actual circumstances. So like I'm anxious about my parents' health. I do not know what is going to happen in the future. I do not even know if this poses a danger, but yet I have an unpleasant feeling about it. In case of fear, it is an instantaneous reaction to any imminent threat, and the source of danger is obvious. This is the basic difference between fear and panic. In fear, I will say that I am afraid of snakes. And that is why I will immediately have that fight or flight response. And remember, by fight or flight response, I mean that the person is going to have all the sympathetic excitation, like heart rate increasing and breathing rate increasing, everything. Similarly, you would find similar biological reactions in a panic disorder as well. But in panic disorder, there is no obvious external danger. There is no obvious external danger. So that is what the reaction is basically same. The biological functioning, the experience in fear and panic, both are same. But in fear, there is one obvious external stimuli which can be kind of viewed. This is what I'm afraid of. Panic, there is no obvious external danger, and I cannot see it. And so that is why the person kind of needs to undergo therapy or counseling, because the person has to kind of think deeply about it. What is it that is causing these fear reactions? And anxiety, again, in anxiety also, danger cannot be clearly specified. Next is, as we know in psychology, we have three components: cognitive, physiological components, which is the biological part of it, and behavioral components, which we call cognitive, cognition, emotion, basically. So cognition is the behavioral part. Okay. So how would be the cognitive component of fear? It's like I feel afraid or terrified. In panic, it will be I'm going to die, become crazy, lose control. This is very characteristic of panic disorder. You will always find the person is going to report, I felt like I was going to die, or I felt like I was going to go crazy. I felt that I was going to lose control. This is very characteristic of a panic disorder. In anxiety, the person will say something awful may happen, I should be prepared. So it's like it's kind of a chronic feeling. It's not something which happens instantaneous. It's not an acute situation, it's a chronic condition. Panic and fear is kind of acute. It happens instantaneous, right at that particular moment. In presence of the stimulus, in panic, the stimulus is not obvious. We cannot view it as such, but there might be something which triggers that panic reaction.